The scariest doll. The house that held its breath. The moving truck lurched to a stop in front of the house, the old engine coughing as if offended by the long climb up the winding mountain road. The afternoon sun hung low and heavy, staining the surrounding forest in a dull orange glow. The house, June's new home, loomed in front of her like something half forgotten by time. Tall, narrow, with its roof sharply pointed, as if it were perpetually listening. June stood on the gravel driveway with her backpack slung over her shoulder, staring at the house she and her mom were supposed to start over in. Its wood siding was so dark it looked almost burnt. Windows were tall and thin, like watchful eyes. The porch sagged a little to the left, and the wind seemed to avoid the place rather than pass through it. Not exactly a dream home, June muttered. From behind her, her mother grunted while dragging a box out of the truck. "It's temporary," she said, her tone carrying that forced brightness she used whenever she was trying to convince herself just as much as June. "Your Uncle Leonard said we can stay here until I figure things out. Rent-free. Just try to keep an open mind." June didn't say anything. She knew figure things out meant finding work, saving money, and surviving the aftermath of the divorce no one wanted to talk about. Her mother's voice softened. "It's just for a little while, honey. A little while." Yet the house felt like it was waiting for them. They stepped onto the porch, and the wood groaned beneath their feet. June hesitated as her mom fished a key from her pocket. "I swear I heard something," June said. "What, a raccoon?" her mother asked. "This place is ancient. It's going to creak." But the sound hadn't been a creak. It had been a whisper. A tiny breathless whisper from behind the door. Her mother slid the key into the lock and pushed the door open. The hinges shrieked, like something being woken up against its will. Dust floated through the shafts of light that broke in from the tall front windows. The smell was the first thing she noticed. Old wood, old carpet, old secrets. It smelled like the kind of place where things had happened long before she arrived. Her Uncle Leonard, whom she hadn't seen in years, had moved to Florida after inheriting the house from a distant relative. He hadn't wanted anything to do with it, which suddenly made perfect sense. "Home sweet something," her mom murmured. June stepped inside. The entryway opened into a long hall with rooms branching off from each side. At the end of the hall was a staircase that rose in a gentle curve. The house felt wrong in its silence, too heavy, too aware, as if it held its breath as they entered. Then, from somewhere deep inside the house, a soft thump echoed. June froze. Her mother did too. "Probably just the foundation settling," she said quickly. Too quickly. But the thump had been rhythmic, like tiny footsteps. They unloaded for the next hour, each sound echoing as if the house were repeating it back to them. Late in the afternoon, June went upstairs to claim a room. Dust-covered portraits lined the upstairs hallway. All the eyes seemed to follow her. She swallowed the uncomfortable feeling and moved on. She picked a room with a small window overlooking the woods. It wasn't big, but it had an old wooden wardrobe, a narrow bed frame, and a small vanity table with a cracked mirror that distorted her reflection. She tugged her suitcase onto the bed and unzipped it. That's when she heard something, a rustle, a tiny shifting sound. June turned. The wardrobe door was open. She frowned. She was certain she hadn't opened it. "Hello?" she whispered. Nothing. She stepped closer and gently pushed the door aside. Inside, only a few old coats hung from wire hangers covered in dust. On the floor, though, was something else. A doll. Its porcelain face was cracked, one fissure running from the corner of its mouth to the edge of its jaw like a creeping smile. Its glass eyes were wide and glistening. The once white dress it wore had yellowed with age, and its black hair was tangled into stiff curls. June crouched down. The doll's head was tilted slightly as if listening, as if waiting. She didn't want to touch it. Every instinct screamed not to, but she reached out and nudged it with one finger. The doll toppled over. Fine, a creepy old doll, nothing more. She left it where it fell. That night after dinner, June lay awake listening to the strange groans and sighs of the old house. She had almost fallen asleep when she heard something unmistakable. Tap, tap, tap. Soft, delicate, like porcelain tapping wood. June sat up. The sound came from the far corner of the room. Her eyes went to the wardrobe. The door was open again. A cold shiver slid down her spine. She forced herself to get up, heart hammering. She stepped toward the wardrobe and gripped the door. She pulled it shut, then pressed hard to make sure it latched. She turned back toward bed and froze. The doll was sitting upright, in the middle of her bedroom floor. June's breath caught in her throat. She stumbled backward until her legs hit the bed. She didn't scream, didn't move. She only stared. The doll stared back. Its cracked smile seemed wider. She didn't sleep the rest of the night. To be continued, Part 2 is coming soon.